Hello, everybody that is joining. Let me just get, I'm trying to, I just received this. So let me just get this out there. You guys that were live, I have not a chance to do. Hang on, just give me a second here. Okay, let me just get back to this, you guys, so I can pop back over to chat to see what's going on there. Okay, so we've got the defense attorneys in this case regarding Orrin and Orson West. The defense attorneys for Jacqueline and Trezell are about to make a statement. Hello, everybody coming in. Sorry, I had no warning of this either, or I would have given you guys a heads up. But they are about to make a statement, and I jumped on as quick as I could. So hence why there's not really much information out about this. So let me just... Okay, we're about to get the statement. Let me get this shared for you guys so you guys can see this. Okay, here we go. I'll go full screen and we will sit and we will wait. This is going to be an update on the Orrin and Orson West case. Apparently, the defense attorneys are going to speak. Missy T, the gag order has not been dealt with yet. Okay, Boop Scoops, I'm going to ask that please do not put information in the chat that has not been proven yet. It's just going to be removed. Hello, Summer Dawn, Marie. Here they come. Let's listen.
All right, we'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Tim Hennessy. I'm lead counsel for Mr. Trezel West. Associated counsel with me will be Joshua Fleshman. He's not present at this moment. Here with me also is Alexia Torres-Stallings. She represents Ms. Jacqueline West. And associated counsel for Ms. Jacqueline West will be Ms. Fatima Rodriguez, here present to my left. This will be the only time defense counsel will be addressing the media, making statements about the case until after the trial. We won't be answering any questions here today. We won't be discussing any facts of the case. Our clients, we've spoken to them about this. They're behind this. They understand our need to getting our side out. Last week, our clients, Mr. and Mrs. West, were arraigned on an indictment of 5 counts, including second-degree murder, and that came as a result of a grand jury convene. There's been great confusion we've seen about the difference here between a grand jury and a trial jury, and the two of those things could not be more different. First, the standard of proof is lower for a grand jury. They need to only determine probable cause, which is one of the lowest legal standards our system holds. They also do not require a unanimous vote by the jurors. The prosecution also has broad discretion in determining how to proceed and doing so by way of indictment. The grand jury process lacks a crucial and important role of our criminal justice system, and that is the accused and their counsel being present during. There is no opportunity to cross-examine any witnesses, and it is basically ran by the district attorney. This is to the detriment of the accused, as evidence of a speculative nature has a way of integrating itself into this most secretive of all legal proceedings. On the other hand, a trial by jury, they must unanimously agree on the issue of guilt or not guilty. And there you have the highest standard of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt, and it is a proceeding done in open court. The state's comment and reliance on this "we have proved" to a grand jury is mere rhetoric. It's used as an insurance to bolster a lopsided indictment. Comments such as this have no place in an actual court of law, where it is 12 individuals who unanimously decide the outcome of this case based on this highest level of burden of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. Statements that have been used by the Kern County District Attorney in her press conference tend to invoke a tidal wave of emotion towards finding guilt, whether substantiated or not, and this will taint a local jury pool and could deny our clients a chance at a fair trial. It's odd that the office held their press conference, made a series of comments which both mis- and disinformed the public, then the following day came and requested a gag order to stop the defense from having an ability to make similar comments. This action is disingenuous, but may also cause change for a change of venue in the future. This is an election year, and this case is serving as a compass to guide the DA to her path of re-election. However, it is now when the misleads in theater end and the constitutional protections begin. The safeguards of the accused and the fight to preserve those for Trezel and Jacqueline West begin now. And I think
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos a nuestra conferencia de prensa conjunta. Primeramente, me gustaría comenzar presentando a los abogados. Timothy Hennessy, el abogado principal para señor West. Joshua Fleshman, abogado asociado con señor West. Y yo, Alexia Torres Stallings, abogada principal de la señora Jacqueline Martínez West. Fátima Rodríguez, abogada asociado de la señora West. Esta será la única vez que los abogados defensores se dirigirán a los medios de comunicación hasta después del final del juicio. No responderemos a ninguna pregunta hoy después de la conferencia. Tenga en cuenta que hemos hablado con nuestros clientes que están al tanto de la conferencia de hoy y tampoco discutiremos ninguno de los hechos relacionados con el caso. Comentarios como estos no tienen. Perdóname. La semana pasada, el señor y señora West fueron procesados por una acusación de 5 cargos, incluyendo asesinato en segundo grado como resultado de una reunión del gran jurado. Existe una gran confusión entre los dos jurados de juicio y los gran jurados, y los dos no podrían ser más diferentes. Primero, el estándar de prueba es más bajo para un gran jurado, necesitando solo determinar la causa probable, uno de los estándares más bajos de prueba. Tampoco requieren unanimidad. La Fiscalía tiene amplia discrecionalidad para determinar proceder a través de la acusación. Este proceso carece de un papel crucial y importante del sistema de justicia. El acusado y sus abogados no están presentados durante el procedimiento y los abogados defensores no tuvieron la oportunidad de entregar a los testigos de la Fiscalía. En detrimento de los acusados, la prueba de naturaleza especulativa tiene una forma de contradecirse con el más secreto de todos los procedimientos legales. Por otro lado, un juicio por jurado debe acordar unánimemente la cuestión de culpable o no culpable por el más alto nivel de prueba más allá de una duda razonable y hacerlo en juicio abierto al público. El comentario del Estado demostraremos al gran jurado es pura retórica, utilizado como garantía por reforzar su acusación desigual. Comentarios como estos no tienen cabida en el verdadero tribunal de justicia, donde 12 personas que le deben decir por unanimidad el resultado de este caso sobre la base del cargo mayor de la prueba más allá de una duda razonable. Declaraciones como la utilizada por la fiscal de distrito el condado de Kern en su conferencia de prensa tienden a evocar un holo de emoción hacia la culpable, y sea fundamentado o no, que marcha el grupo de jurados locales y niega a nuestros clientes un juicio justo. Eso extraño que la oficina celebrar una conferencia de prensa hiciera una serie de comentarios que desinformen y desinformen al público, y luego el día siguiente envía a su abogado a la corte en busca de un orden de mordaza. Esta acción no solo es insincero, sino que también puede crear una causa para un cambio de sitio en el futuro. Este es un año electoral y este caso sirve como la estrella norte que guía la fiscal hacia su camino de reelección. Sin embargo, aquí es donde terminan las trampas y el teatro y comienzan las protecciones y las salvaguardas constitucionales de señor West y señora West, los acusados. Muchas gracias. Thank you everyone for being here today.
I know you guys can't talk about facts of the case, but can we ask you questions just about what it is that you said, just for further clarification?
About grand juries in
Yeah,
particular?
exactly. So, just for like the common layperson, you know, can you explain the difference between finding having probable cause in order to have pass an indictment and beyond a reasonable doubt? Just could you explain that a little bit further?
Generally speaking, yes. So generally speaking, probable cause is the standard kind of being used day to day by law enforcement on whether or not to make an arrest. Right. That is is there a probability something here happened? Okay. Beyond a reasonable doubt is like that probably happened. Right. I mean that I don't have my calculator in front of me, but it's the idea that that it is more probable than not that the guilt of this offense has been proven, right? The question is not should or not this person be arrested, and that's where we're at now. It was there enough for these charges to be brought? But the highest standard beyond a reasonable doubt, that's far off. That's so far from where we're at now. But because we hear jury, we hear grand jury, trial jury, there's this general sense to think, well, they must have proven this. This must have been proven beyond reasonable doubt, and that is not what happened. That is not what a grand jury is. A grand jury is a way to bring charges, much like how we have preliminary hearings all day, every day in the downtown courthouse. That's the same thing to get you in the same place. That they're two wildly different things, a grand jury and a trial jury.
Will you have a prelim?
So, I didn't know if you wanted me to, did you want me to answer that in Spanish as well? I don't know. Okay. So, la causa probable es el más abajo forma de los estándares. So, por ejemplo, es cuando la policía hay un arrestado una persona, es el más abajo, lo más abajo. Y para las standards de duda de razonable es más alta. So, por ejemplo, no es probablemente, no es posiblemente, pero es más alta de esos. ¿Ok? Más alta de probablemente, más alta de posiblemente.
In terms of the timeline when you guys hope to move forward with the trial? Or is it still up in the air, the approach to the project?
That's difficult considering the stage we're at right now, as far as what we know and need to prepare for. I do know that our position as well as our clients is to be vindicated as soon as possible.
Where do you guys stand on the gag order tomorrow and why?
So I can answer that in English and then I'll go back. So we are going to be joining in the request for the gag order for a number of reasons. We do not want more misinformation to be spread before the jury trial. There has been very, very few number of cases that have had the opportunity to have a change of venue granted. I believe that there was one, not recently, but I believe that it came back on the Robert Mistriel trial, I believe was one of them. And so in order to ensure that our jury pool here isn't tainted, we are going to be joining on that gag order as well. ¿Quiere que yo decir eso en español también? Okay. So, nosotros queremos el orden también porque no hay muchos casos aquí en Kern County donde hay un papel de orden para cambiar el sitio. So, yo nomás piensa un jurado de Robert Mistriel, excuse me. Entonces, nosotros queremos juntar en pide la corte porque no quiere que personas aquí no tomen mucha información que no es correcto antes del jurado.
And there will be no prelim?
No, there won't be a prelim because that is what the grand jury accomplished. So rather than proceed through prelim, it proceeded by way of grand jury, which is fine. It's an option, but it is to think that it is somehow superior or has proven more or means more, that's inaccurate.
When you guys say change of venue, could you just be a little bit more clear? What do you mean by that?
So if we go back to the trial that I cited earlier, that the incident took place here in Kern County, but the attorneys were able to prove in court that a significant portion of the people in Kern County were aware of the case and essentially argued that the jury pool would have already made up their mind had they decided to stay here. Again, these are not granted often, but it is something that we may be able to do considering the large amount of coverage that this case has garnered.
So basically, it would just be arguing it in a different district type of thing.
Right, same trial, just in a different county. También para el español. So, en el orden para cambiar el sitio, no hay muchos casos aquí que eso es la realidad. Entonces, nosotros estamos diciendo que es posible para cambiar el jurado porque Por ejemplo, hay muchas personas aquí en Kirk County que either sabíamos o tenemos una opinión de este caso. And so, por ejemplo, es más mejor para pedir el corte para cambiar el county, pero es el mismo jurado.
And to clarify, are you guys saying the DA went the grand jury route for political reasons?
So, in viewing the press conference, I believe that she had indicated that they went the press conference route for some reasons that may have dealt with scheduling purposes. Although that can happen, there is also something that council can agree to in order to allow the prelim to be continuous. She did state that there were a lot of high-profile cases in which they have chosen to go by way of indictment. Between Mr. Hennessy and our law firm, we were thinking of a couple of our high-profile cases, and those ones have not gone by way of indictment.
What challenges does this sort of present to you guys? And you mentioned you guys have had these kinds of high-profile cases, but what sort of barriers are you guys now presented with? I mean, obviously there's a change in venue. Any other challenges that you guys are sort of facing and working through?
I would say in comparison to other cases, one of the reasons why I wanted to speak today on behalf of Mr. West is the public's response to a lot of this has made it seem like it's a done deal. Like, why would you take this case? Why would you represent this person? He was found by this jury already. And to us, that's detrimental to the defense. That's like the fundamental purpose of this is innocent until proven guilty. And people are telling me, hey, it's a done deal. We saw it on the news. We heard it. The jury found him guilty. They proved it to a jury already. And to us, that's the most detrimental thing. Because this has to be a jury of people ready to sit, listen, do their job, hear the evidence, make a decision. And if the whole community already thinks that's a done deal, no one's going to show up and take this seriously, then we've lost already. And that is the point today, just to make it clear what it is that was done and what still has to be done before you want to convict our clients.
Y también cuando leer los comentarios de, por ejemplo, YouTube o de la media, también hay muchos comentarios que personas están diciendo que ellos están culpables, porque necesitan un jurado, porque un gran jurado ya dice que ellos son culpables. Entonces, esta es la razón que nosotros piensan que esta conferencia es más importante para correctar las palabras, los estatutos de la fiscal.
What if you did it in the normal way, the normal trial, would you still take the case?
I'm so sorry, I didn't understand the
If they
question.
did it the normal way that they did in a regular trial, like normally, would you guys still defend these people?
Yeah. But they're still innocent until proven guilty.
No, I
Because,
understand.
yeah, no, and it doesn't matter if that's a grand jury putting charges or a holding order at a prelim. I'd have still taken the case. I just want the ground we're working with now for everyone to understand that we're in the same place had they been held to answer at a preliminary.
Sí, porque es muy raro para hacer este tipo de audiencias. Es raro para hacer este tipo de audiencias, y también, like my counsel was saying, que ellos son inocentes ahora.
Can you guys confirm this trial, this case is being worked by you guys pro bono?
It is not. So we are appointed through the Indigent Defense Panel. That is a program that is run through the Kern County Bar Association. And so that is how we have been appointed to the case.
And you guys are requesting a change of venue.
I think that's something we have to discuss further and see where we're at. I think the concern is that is where we end up. I mean, like, to avoid that, if we could, this should stay in Kern County. It's Kern County's people. So, but that being said, I think it's something that we are aware of and paying attention to.
In establishing sort of like the timeline that you guys are gonna be working with here, or, speaking to your clients as well, were you guys able to establish when exactly the West moved to California City?
I think that so. I think that that's a little bit beyond the realm that we would like to discuss here today. We definitely do not mind talking procedure, but that's a little bit over what we wanted to discuss. Thank you.
You guys also said that there was some stuff that Ms. Zimmer said at a press conference that was like a little emotional, tugging at those strings. Could you talk specifically what were the stuff that she said that really struck you as that?
It's not to say that this is not going to be an emotional case. However, we did believe that there was some phrasing that was used that to a lay person implicates one thing, but to an attorney or to many attorneys implicates another. When we hear stuff like we proved to the grand jury, they were convinced, they believed, that isn't the standard in which they make their finding. And so to us, it was to more clarify that that isn't the standard. That isn't to say that the grand jury aren't humans and that they obviously can't make up their own mind. It's just that that's not the same standard in which we know the standard to be.
And then one last question, just more of like if a person isn't a lawyer, a gag order, when is that implemented? What's sort of the standard that has to be met there for just to be like, yes, we're going to go forward with this?
I would say the request of a gag order is relatively routine in a high profile case. I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary in requesting it. I think the only thing that didn't sit necessarily right with us was a press conference comes out and then they want to place a gag order. And I think to us it was like, well, we should also have our opportunity to address exactly what we've done here, how we see it differently.
Sure.
But other than that, not talking about the case, because the reason why then I think Alexia talked about this, it's kind of the essence here, is we want jurors who are going to sit and hear the evidence, how it's supposed to be presented. Let this play out. I mean, this is one of the fundamental things our society has, is trial by jury, and it needs to stay pure and be what it should be. And that be 12 unbiased jurors listening to the evidence, making a decision. The minute that starts to seep into the jury pool and things change, that's our concern. We just want to get it now. So that's why tomorrow we would agree with the gag order.
There is currently, also a lawsuit that the county has placed on the West for, are you guys sort of going to tackle that lawsuit as well? Are you guys going to represent them on that litigation as well? Or is that going to complicate this for you guys a little bit?
So the answer to that right now would be no. It was my understanding that the lawsuit, the civil lawsuit, is filed by the biological father.
There's another one. So the county, the West, are facing like a child support lawsuit, I believe, for the other children.
Okay.
So there's the biological one, but then there's also the one by the county.
And you're not referring to a dependency issue?
It is the dependency one.
Okay. Then in that case, we do not represent them in that particular matter. They actually have other attorneys who have also been court appointed through the Indigent Defense Program who represent them in that matter. That is not to say that we aren't working together. It's just that we aren't representing them on that matter.
All right, with that, we're good.
Okay, thank you so much.
I was
One last
just gonna
question.
say, should tomorrow's motion for the gag order, should it be denied? Would that change your guys' stance, or do you think it would change your client's stance on further commenting on the details of this case?
Like you mean,
Like
sorry,
public, in the beginning you said that this would be, at this time, the only time you plan on addressing media and questions regarding the case. Tomorrow, should the gag order be denied and details come out before the trial or throughout the trial, would you guys consider readdressing media at that point?
So I think that at this point, if the prosecution and the defense are going to be joining in that motion, I don't necessarily see it being denied. The reality is that whether or not it is or is not denied, it would still be in our best interest to at least just wait until the trial. We don't want to we don't want to use the potential motion for change of venue as a sword and a shield. We want to be able to articulate that motion if necessary, and have it granted again if necessary, not by our own doing. So I think that regardless if it were or were not to be granted, we would still be abiding by the silence until the end of trial.
This agency you're talking about, did they come to you or did you go to them to take on this case?
The agency.
The indigent defense panel, it assigned us. We were available for appointment.
It did, but I will note that we are asked if we would like to take on a case, specifically Mr. Hennessy and I, and we did choose to take this on.
Sorry, just to go back again to the change of venue question, you guys did say you guys have to discuss it a little bit further as well. But what would it depend on to motivate you guys to ask for a change of venue?
There are specific factors that we have to look into, that we actually have to do research on before we could bring that motion to court. As an officer of the court, we are bound from bringing frivolous motions, and so we want to ensure that there is at least some basis for that. I will point out that as you all have been covering this case, I too have been reading everything that you folks have been producing. But specifically, I would direct you to that Robert Mistrial case. I did read an article several years ago that indicated that I guess at the time of the hearing that the court was able to establish that 72 to 79% of the county either were aware of the case, had an opinion about that case, etc. Again, these are motions that are not granted often, and so a lot of times attorneys have to go back to the cases before us to determine how something can be brought about.
I would think the sentiment from both of us is, as pleasant as this has been, we'd rather not be doing this. We'd rather not be thinking about a change of venue. We'd rather just getting ready for a case, going before a jury and trying. I think that would be our preference. I think in this one instance, because of the unique circumstances that got us here, we wanted to make this statement to point some things out before kind of shutting it down and doing it a trial like it should be done.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
First, before we start, congratulations.
Okay.
Then we're gonna start wrapping all this stuff.
Okay. Well, thank you guys, and y'all tricked us into answering questions.
Okay, so there we've got it, you guys. Let me just stop this on my other screen so I'm not distracted by it. Just give me a second. Okay, so there we have it, you guys. I wasn't expecting much more of anything. I was kind of hoping that I'd heard a rumor going around earlier. I was made aware of somebody making a comment. I'm not going to mention any channels or anybody who made the comment, but there was comments going around. Okay, just a second. About this, so I was hoping that maybe something about that would come out in this press conference, but it did not, so I don't give any weight to it. Basically, what they did is they are a little upset that this was done via grand jury, and the indictment was through the grand jury. They're basically saying that Trezel and Jacqueline didn't have a chance to speak at that grand jury. They didn't have a chance to defend themselves at the grand jury or bring any information in that could have exonerated them or whatever. That's probably wouldn't have happened anyway, but they're basically just saying it was all one-sided, that people should not be believing or giving any weight to Trezel and Jacqueline being guilty because they haven't had their day in court to defend themselves. They haven't been able to bring up any of you know, any evidence that they may have that says it's not them. So basically just crying about this going to the grand jury and getting an indictment that way instead of through an arrest affidavit and then a prelim and all that to see if there was enough to go to trial. So that's what they're peeved off about, is this: when you get a grand jury indictment, it goes right to trial. There's no preliminary. There's no chance to redeem yourself before you're set for trial. Nothing. It's going right directly to trial. So that's what they are upset about here, is that they didn't get a chance to have any input put in or anything like that. So basically, from what I understood from that, is they're whining and crying that, you know, the police department and district attorney's office went to the grand jury instead of just getting an arrest warrant and then having a preliminary hearing. They're also stating that yes, they are they're going for the gag order, and they also may be going for the change of venue because of you know, everybody knowing about this case and having an opinion already about this case, etc. Well, I mean, I'm in Canada, so it's like I know about it, and I know a lot about this case. I've been on this since day one. So I don't think that even moving it outside of Bakersfield or anything that they're going to get, you know, they'd have to move it to the Arctic somewhere for people not to have heard about it. And they probably heard about it there too. So they're doing a little whining and crying about that. So they will be asking probably, I say 100%, they'll be asking for a change of venue. They want it out of Bakersfield, and they're asking for a gag order because they're saying that being that the DA's office did a presser, they're saying that there was a lot of misinformation that has come out, and they don't want any more coming out. So this is why they're asking for a gag order. So that's the basic of everything that was just said. These attorneys were appointed by the courts. You usually get that when they're indigenous, which means they have no money to be able to afford their own attorneys. So they have been appointed, these attorneys. Now, we also heard that there is a civil suit that is going on that has been started by the biological father. These lawyers here, Hennessy, and I forget what the lady's name was. She represents Jacqueline. He represents Trezell. I don't know what the other woman was doing there. She just stood there and smiled. But anyway, they were appointed by the courts. And they look like they were all excited to get it. I mean, it is a very high-profile case. It could boost their names if they win. I don't see them winning. So basically, that is what was said. So if there's any questions that you guys have that you think that I might be able to answer, I will do that. And as far as the sound, you guys, that was as loud as it would go. Let me just, give me a second here. Just give me a second, you guys. I've got something I've got to do here. And then I'll answer any of your questions. Okay. Okay, and just to let you guys know that once this does, the live ends, it will take a bit for it to be uploaded. If you're going to use some cuss words, you guys, please mask the cuss words. So seeking justice, sorry that had to be removed, but if you can mask any cuss words, please. Okay, so. Okay, let's not bring Russia into this. Oh, I bet you they're probably in PC. I don't think they will be in general population. Dana, that's what I just said. They basically were crying about it going to a grand jury instead of the police and DA issuing an arrest warrant. They went straight to the grand jury and got an indictment there, which means that they do not get the preliminary hearing or nothing. They go straight to trial. Janelle, I think that it will be televised. By the looks of things, I do believe it will be. Okay, that's better. Yes, please smash that thumbs up button on your way in. It's free to do. And it helps get this up in the algorithm so people know that we are live. Yeah, YouTube is very picky. Okay, so let me get back over here so I can see your comments. Okay, so the kids are not be found. So what would a gag order imply? This is this case to the benefit of the suspects or aggrieved? The reason that they're asking for a gag order is because they're saying that the prosecution has put out false information. They're trying to make people believe we got an indictment, they're guilty. So basically what the defense has said there is that they have basically, in not so many words, said they're guilty before they even have a trial. So the way that they're saying that the way that the prosecution came out with their presser that they had is they are driving home the fact that these two are guilty before even they have a trial. So that's why they want a gag order. They want that to stop from happening, and they don't want the case talked about. So no other misinformation is put out there. Now, is it misinformation? No, they got an indictment. They're going directly to trial. The grand jury found that there was more than enough probable cause. They're saying that it's on a lower scale that they need. Well, it's always, even at a probable cause hearing, the judge always has to weigh on the side of the prosecution. So, I mean, I don't know why they would bring that up, but it's a dig. Me too. Yeah, they will never be in Gen Pop because they will be in PC. Absolutely. I did not comment on that because I do not know, but I can't verify anything there, so I will not discuss it here. And all the boys really don't feel at all anymore. You know what I mean? They're in a better place now, and it's just sad. I'm not going to allow any comments on that because I don't have any verifiable information on that regarding the other kids that had been in custody of Trezel and Jacqueline. The only thing that I understand right now is those seem to be, like I said, I don't allow anything in my chat that I have not already verified. I do believe from the information that I have been able to find regarding those two, those were the two that were returned back to CPS because Jacqueline and Trezel could not handle them. So if they were to return back to the system, then if they were returned back, we know that Trezel, at least Trezel and Jacqueline, have not done anything regarding them. And that's as far as I know. If anything changes and I can get other verified information, then I will let you guys know. Oh, no, that's what I said. Where is that? There it is. No, that's why they will be in PC, because people don't like child killers. Oh, totally fine, Shivani. Totally fine. As long as you mask the words, you're good. So are there any other questions that you guys have that I may or may not be able to answer? Like I said, you will only get answers to things that I can verify or things that I may have been able to understand, have worked in the legal field for over 30 years. I can understand a little bit more of the wordings. If there's anything that you didn't understand from that, I can explain to the best of my abilities for you. If not, we will wrap it up. I was thinking that something else was going to come out because there's another rumor going around, and you guys know about rumors. There's a rumor going around that the boys have been found. Well, I have not seen anything that could verify that. So as of now, I'm going to say it's a rumor. It is very heartbreaking. We're not going to be talking about what's seen on other channels or anything else. We're not going to talk about other creators. We don't do that here. Yes, all around it is just horrible. Missy T, we're not mentioning other names here, please. So are there any other questions you guys may have had? A GD, that is not verifiable. It's okay, Missy T. It's okay, Marie. I'm just making it clear there's enough drama going on in the true crime community. I'm not going to allow anything that I can't verify or that I haven't verified. I'm not going to allow it here, just to stay out of that drama. But I'm going to let you guys know that there are rumors going around about that. So it is not verified. I have not been able to find anything even remotely close to saying that the boys have been found. And I'm in the court records and everything. So yes, so far, Dana, yes, the trial is set for May 23rd. I do believe that that is going to be changed. But as of today, right now, it is still set to start May 23rd. Like I said, I do believe that that is going to be further down the line. I believe that the prosecution is ready to go, but the defense is not going to be ready to go. So if the defense asks for that to be reset, then that starts the clock over again, because they've only got a certain amount of time to bring it to trial once the charges are laid. But if the defense asks for an extension, then they reset that clock again. So if there's no other questions, Okay, so if there's no other questions, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up. This is what we know right now. Tomorrow they are back in court. I have a couple of appointments tomorrow, but I will, as soon as I am home, I will jump on and see what I can bring you. I don't know if tomorrow is going to be able to be visible or streamed to begin with, so I can't say that I can stream it for you guys until generally the trial. It will not be publicly open. There'll be public comments in the news about it at later on after it occurs, but at this point, I don't think that they are going to allow cameras in the courtroom. They usually don't for certain things, and there's a lot of things that have been skipped because it went straight to the grand jury, and they did an indictment, which means straight to trial. So I don't believe that anything is going to be available to be physically seen by us until the trial. And I'm thinking right now, from what I've seen so far, nobody has asked for a media ban. So, which means that we may be able to see it as it's happening. I doubt either one of them are talking right now. I think as it gets closer to the trial date, one may decide that they want to tell all, but I don't think that's going to happen at least for a few more weeks, if at all. And have you seen the defense speak like this at conferences? I have. There's been others, Mark Means being one of them. It's the defense pulling a hissy fit, and if you want my honest opinion, it's like, they could have their presser and we can't have one because there's a gag order going into effect. Well, we're going to take our chance now and just say whatever they want to say. It's an opportunity for them to get their names out there. That's what I get from it. Okay, you guys. So if anything else pops up, I will jump back on here just to let you guys know that this is not going to be available for a bit once I end the live stream. I believe they did too, but we're going to leave it at that because we don't have verifiable proof of that. But from the way I read the indictment, it was they got information a week or so after they reported the kids missing, and it was a week or so after that the other kids in the home were taken out of the home. So that's who I do believe, but it's not verified yet. It got to a fast trial, Margie, because it went before a grand jury, and the grand jury indicted. When they get an indictment, you go right to trial. With the Daybell case, there was a prelim and probable cause. They didn't get a grand jury indictment for the initial charges anyway. I do think they will. Yes. Whatever's left to find. I'll leave it at that. Like I said, I've heard some inside scoop stuff, but it's not verifiable. There's nothing that I can show you publicly to verify that. So even though I may have seen something, I'm not going to put it out there as verified yet until I can physically show you guys that information. So if I can't show it to you, I'm not going to say it. But I do have some inside stuff that has happened. I've also got other information today via email from somebody here on my channel that somebody else had said something, and I'm not going to get into all of that because it's not verified. And it's nothing that I have personally seen yet either. Dana, they are appointed lawyers by the court, which it means the state is going to be paying for their lawyers because they are indigent, which means they have no money. There's also another trial going on. There's a civil case that's going on that the biological fathers have done a wrongful death suit, has filed, and they have other lawyers for that. And also because they're indigent, then they are entitled to free lawyers that are paid for by the state. But like I said, with these two coming forward, I believe it was just to get their name out there. They want the media attention, and they wanted to get their say into before the gag order takes effect. And they're going for that tomorrow. So the timing, that's what I'm thinking. And they're a little upset that the prosecution went about this the way that they did. But you can't choose the way that the DA brings the cases forward. Thank you, Shelley, for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Pepsi Girl says yes, but that does. The people that don't watch YouTube don't know much about it. It's all over. It's over YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. So, okay, you guys, I'm going to wrap this up. If anything else pops off, I will let you guys know. If I don't come live, keep an eye. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you're made aware when I do. This was an unplanned live because I got information that there was going to be a presser. So I jumped on right away to bring that to you. And I do that all the time. Also, if I don't jump on a live, I will put it in my community tab. So keep an eye on that community tab. Also, if you have your notification, if you're subscribed and you have that notification bell lit up, you will get notified when I do put something in that community post, and also when I go live. Okay, so if anything else pops off, you guys, I will jump back on here. Thank you to my mods for being here and keeping things flowing good. Thank you to everybody for coming and watching the presser with me. Until the next time, please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Love you to the moon and back. Bye-bye for now.